Hello, welcome back to fromsoftserve. Today, I just had to make this video because I was thinking about streaming, but I was like, nah, maybe not today. But this is a plug-in for Blender, and this is earth-shattering for the Dark Souls 1 modding community. I think largely the Souls modding community in general, not just Dark Souls 1. But from what's being shown off here, it's specifically Dark Souls 1, so I think so. But anyway, it's from the creator of Dark Souls Nightfall, which is that really sick-ass mod that hasn't fully come out, but they put a demo out. And it's pretty cool. It had all these new ideas and new bosses, and obviously there's the Daughters of Ash, there's that mod as well. Basically, a legend. Grimm is a legend. I've used their videos to learn how to move bonfires, create new bonfires. Like my project that I have is actually called Soulstruct Companion Project, even though I ended up actually just using DS Map Studio instead of his own program, which is called Soulstruct. He is a goddamn legend, and now he's basically releasing it for Blender. Which, the big problem with Soulstruct for me is that it wasn't visual. It was mostly like a program with a bunch of fields, and it was really powerful and good, but I ended up going for DS Map Studio. But if we look at the images here, this is all Blender, and they're loading Priscilla and animations, and you can look like there's animation frames here. I'm like, okay, that's amazing. I love that. And then we have Firelink Shrine looking at purely the geo, and you can tell it's loading in maps, and you can, that's the game, which is Dark Souls 1 Remastered. So clearly there's a drop down for like other FromSoft games. And then you can actually import a map collision and edit a map collision. That's insane. That's crazy. That is absolutely bananas. Dark Souls 1 Remastered, you have not been able to really modify the collisions easily. They have found their ways of doing it, but it is bananas how you have to do it. And it sucks, and it's not perfect, and it's held together with duct tape. And it's something I haven't really delved into because it was so incredibly difficult and like beyond my, my pay grade, right? But here, being able to do this all in Blender, that's nuts. And then viewing the textures on the whole scene at once, you can quickly import map pieces, characters, objects. There's even a tool for light maps. You can export the fibers after you modify them. Like that, it's hard for me to communicate just how insane this is. This is just a goddamn game changer. Like, I could keep making my mod without this, but this is such a giant tool that, it was announced last night out of nowhere for like a Happy Halloween thing, and I'm like, are you insane? Because he specifically says here, it's been 4 years in the making, import and export map pieces, characters, objects, map collisions, nav meshes, and even Havoc animation data. That is just, these are all things that you have not generally been able to do easily, or even half as effective, or 10% as effective. Like, Grimm is a legend, and they were able to figure out a lot of this stuff on their own. But to give this to the community is just unbelievable. And what it allows me to do is I should be able to, with these new Blender tools, I'm pretty confident that I could make a little pathway from the end of the graveyard here and then head on down. And I could see that I could make this town into a real town where you could actually fly through this town. Well, not fly through the town, but you could actually traverse the town. I'll have to replace portions with, I'll have to use essentially this as a framework and then take actual map pieces from Undead Burg, and I should be able to make this into an actual town, because this right here is like straight out of Lower Undead Burg, and a lot of this there's actual models of that they used elsewhere, and this is just a low poly. But there's no way that I couldn't make this into a walkable explorable zone with loot and like enemies, and like it's just gonna be a little side quest town. But with this being announced, there's just no doubt in my mind that I could make that into a town that is actually traversable now. It's unbelievable what they announced here. It's just, I had to talk about it. I'm like, I need everyone in the world to see how ridiculous this is, and they're doing it just for free, just because. And that is nuts. So like, if you want to see my current method of basically money laundering things through Blender, it's terrible. It is just terrible. So basically there's multiple tools. If I wanted to try to modify something in Blender, the current process is not great. You have this Aqua tool set, which was originally created for like models from like a certain MMO, and it ended up actually being very useful for from software files. They ended up using a similar Fiverr model format, and so basically, like for instance, I have this Fiverr file, which is from basically either Undeadburg or... No, that's actually from Undeadburg. So basically what you do is you go, okay, I got this Fiverr file from Undeadburg. I've taken it from the folder. I'm going to drop it on the Souls model tool, which is really cool. And it is going to take it, and then it should generate basically a version of that is .fbx. And that .fbx file, which is right down here, you can actually then open up Blender, and it can accept that FBX. And that's fine, but there's a lot of other things you have to do, and it's really imperfect. And so basically you go, okay, I'm gonna import my FBX file that I have made. And this one looks to be, I think it's Andre? Or no, this is the first bonfire in Undeadburg. So yeah, I'm really bad at Blender. I'm so bad at it. But basically, yeah, you can go, okay, we're in object mode. Okay. And rotate. Oh. Yeah. I'm not very good at Blender at all, but I will be. Well, anyway, you can see basically the actual model, and you have these different mesh indicators, which are mirrored to the Fiverr editor program, which is really cool, and that's great. But Blender, the reason why you're using Blender is that you actually want to modify it more than what these indicators will allow. If you wanted to only slice off a certain portion, you could go, aha, okay, I will only delete that vertice. And that's basically really rough and dumb looking, but that is essentially what you can do with Blender, is make much more complicated edits and target it. And so there are certain things that I need to remove off certain meshes that I've been putting on the back burner because it would be very difficult. And so basically you also need to grab these, and then you need to clear the parent to sort of, that is required for the way that we're currently money laundering this. And then you export it as an FBX as well. So we'll do M2012 output.fbx, which is cool. We go back to our main project folder. There's then a program that it was made by, I believe it was Meowritus, I think. Yeah, created by Meowritus. Meowritus. Absolute legend as well. And basically then You go back in here, you pick the FBX file that you exported, and you notice you can only do character, object, armor, or weapon, so there is no map piece option, which is technically fine. Like, objects, okay, you know, I would kind of prefer to like put them in the same folder as the map objects, and technically you can still do that. You can like put it as an object. So basically, yeah, we grabbed it. We have our DS Remastered EXE path. You have a lot of options here for like, you know, hollow to human and a bunch of weird things I don't really mess with. Mesh double-sided, I don't really, I think that has to do with the back face rendering, maybe. And you can rotate the normals. It's a really awesome fucking tool. It really is. And so basically you tell it that you want it to be object 0017. And so then you hit import and it does its little thing. It doesn't work if we didn't do that little clear parent. I've learned that. Magpie was super, super, super helpful with basically this being possible at all. So shout out to Magpie. So then we have objects. So then you go into your objects and we made the object 16. Oh, or no, we made, wait, oh, got it. No, we made 17. Yeah, I know what 16 is. So then we made 17. We then yabber the shit out of that. And then we have our newly created fiber file. But it has no, basically it has no TPF, which is the textures. So it's kind of great. So then you need to go back into your tool set here, and you open up your original. You open up your original fiber file, and you want to save essentially the bones of it. So it's kind of crazy. You gotta stick with me here. Mainly this is just to show you how ridiculous this is. It is just a ridiculous new bones. So then you hit new bones, bones.json. It's basically saving the JSON data. And then you go to your materials because you want to save the textures, right? So you're going to export your material.json. So then you put it in there. Cool beans, great, got it, love it, love to see it. We go back to our object. You go to that fiber file, and by default, it kind of has the meshes, but it doesn't really have much of anything else with it. I think it will be displayed. Yeah, you can see it kind of rotating up here, which looks fine. And you'll love to see it. Is that archway upside? Oh, I think I just rotated the whole thing upside down. Anyway, you load in your bones. You don't shift the bone weights to a new bone. Bone change completed. You then load your material.json, because right now it has placeholders. And so then it will load the actual textures for it. And when you reopen it, it should now show M2012B1A10, which looks a lot better than the 10 different things it was originally showing. You'll see the materials have updated back to what they were prior. And so now, just to make one edit, we have ridiculously money laundered this dumbass thing. And then you yabber it. And then you're still not done. Because then you can kind of go in here and you're like, all right, got it. Let me copy a goddamn object. Or you can just hit create new, but sometimes I'll just go, all right, let's do 00117. And did it load? Yes, it did. Oh, look at that. Not only that, it actually loaded the textures for it correctly because we saved the material.json. And it looks really stupid, but I believe our edits are actually still in place. Yeah, we sliced off some corners, right? And so like that is sherpaing something back out of the game through all the tools just to get it back in the game. And even then, in game, it has more rendering issues. But when this tool tells me that I can just open Blender open the map, import the Fiverr, and just do it all within Blender and then export it straight back to a Fiverr file, that's insane. That's a game changer. I can just edit the amount of modifications I can make at a time and how quickly, and detailed edits like this opens up so many possibilities. This opens up the possibility of down the road in Blighttown down here. This was actually thanks to Illusory Wall. Illusory Wall let me know that, like, oh, by the way, yeah, like there's this little wall here with like rubble, and then right through it is this other burg, other town you could call it. So I could basically create a little pathway through here, and then you would be able to come into this town from another way. Maybe I have multiple ways. Maybe I don't. Maybe I keep it a surprise. No, that one's too cool. I'd have to tell people about it. But maybe I'd have a secret second way. That's just an example of like the things I could do now. Oh my God. When this tool was announced, my mind was racing. I needed to know it. I needed to know every part of it. So I'm so excited for it to come out today. I don't know when today, but I will likely be posting on Twitter when it does. And I will be losing my goddamn fucking mind. I'm so excited about it. Another thing, really quickly, is fromsoftserve. So I did do a little bit of work yesterday, because I wanted to do this for a while, where I had like my own little website where I could post things that I come up with, or the real idea is basically doing this for, I want to commission people in the fromsoftserve community that are talented artists, because I know statistically we have to have a lot of them, right? There's too much creativity in this community, so I know that like there has to be a ton of them, and I'd like to find some, and I have ideas for certain products that I am not artistic enough on my own, but I'd love to commission and pay them to make a design that I could put on different products, and that way it'd be a way for you guys to support the channel, but you get something cool. It's not just like giving me money. That feels weird, so if there's some way you guys can get something in return and it could be cool. The main reason I made this, my first idea for making this was because I wanted a shirt for myself. To be totally honest, I wanted a shirt for myself, and I was like, it has my logo. It is simple. It is the most boring product of all time. Lame, in fact. This was one because I had a comment on Twitter where someone was like, I would really like this shirt if it said fan service on the front. And then I, of course, had the idea, because this is something I say all the time, where people complain about fan service, like DS3. And I'm always like, I am that fan, and I am being serviced. So I love it. I think you can do fan service poorly, but like I think DS3 was like fucking awesome fan service, and I will fight anyone that says otherwise. So yeah, those links are in the description. I think you'll see them on some videos, not in the videos, but like in the description area. So it's out of the way. You don't have to see it. It's not going to be annoying. I'm not going to do a ton of like, oh my God, check this out. I don't want to do that. I think that'd be annoying. The other thing is, due to feedback that I really appreciate, and I think people were right, I'm going to remove these defensive portions, because I think clutter is good, and I will keep the clutter I've added, because I think I can add that. And it wasn't so much the feedback where they were like, yeah, but they come back. And I'm like, yeah, but all the objects come back. So to me, that's not the biggest argument against it, because all the objects come back. So, we break objects all the time and then they come back. So that isn't the most convincing argument to me. But the convincing argument that won me over was the fact that someone said, yeah, but you're going to be blocking the view of the bonfire. And I went, and there you go. Yep, that's the one that wins me over. The merit of that argument is they were right. They were 100% right in my mind. I was wrong. Like, I can't block this bonfire. I need people to see this bonfire because it's important that people see it and know that they can run by the dragon or try to figure out how to run by the dragon. That is a key component. So that is sort of a tip for future feedback. Give the feedback in any way that you want, of course. But I will say the one that resonates the most with me is if it's player, the way that it was designed for the player to see certain things. And that one I can't. That's a line for me. I won't cross that. Or if I do and I didn't notice it, please tell me. And I do try to think about these things a lot. So I like the extra clutter. I think I'll keep that because that's not going to be in the way, and it's not going to block the view. I'll get rid of that. I'll add some more clutter with some other things. But yeah, the actual view now is unobstructed, but you have extra little clutter. And once again, as it so commonly is, it's not 100% black and white between one person's opinion or the other. In this case, it ended up being a compromise of we have clutter, but we're not doing the defensive structures, and it's a win-win. IMO. The other thing that is an idea from Aleph Knoll, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they are in the comments all the time and on Discord, and yeah, we chat back and forth on Discord and different things. They always have really good ideas. And one of the ideas was, well, yeah, what about adding clutter to Andre's, like, where the bonfire is? Because, like, it just doesn't, it is weirdly very basic looking. Like, where Andre is pretty fine. Like, there's clutter down here, obviously, so that's not a big deal. But in this room with the bonfire, there's, like, literally nothing. And so their idea was like, oh yeah, well, what about like a bookcase? What about like a bench? Like, you could do things in this room that won't block the ability to go down this, little stairway, and can sort of flesh out this room a little bit, because it does look a little like, well, there's just nothing in here. Nothing to block the doorway, of course, and just easy wins there, right? Like, that one is just one, like, why the fuck did I just didn't think about that. So that's a great idea. Definitely going to do that. And, but yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this quick nerding out about the ungodly new tools that I will have, which this is a good example. So right here this is a map piece related issue that I've needed to fix for weeks. And I've tried on and off with Blender doing that money laundering of the map pieces. The issue is that when I would bring the map piece back in, it refused to load the textures. There was a certain issue with the way that it was rotated, and then even when I rotated it, it didn't help, and then the normals, and then that didn't help, and then there's also a glitch here that I don't think anyone has noticed, but there are floating torch pieces that are unbelievably connected to this map piece, which is from Darkroot Garden. These are actually attached to something. So I will be, now that I will have ungodly Blender power, I can remove these in like 2 seconds. So, and I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. So pretty excited about that. Of course, there's other ways to solve this problem. I could just get rid of this and then use a connect collision and then render this thing that is actually in Darkroot, yada, yada, yada. But I like having my custom map pieces. It gives me more freedom for the distant ones versus using strictly like connect collisions, which will render the actual thing that's in the actual map. The other thing I've been doing is going around and like this graveyard, because right now I'm only loaded into the Undead Bird map. So this is all distant Firelink Shrine that you would see from here. And I did get rid of the graveyard because you couldn't see it anyway. And I've gotten rid of some other things that were geometry that you wouldn't see. I mistakenly had some of Blighttown down here rendering. I had Quailag's like little tunnel I forgot about. And so I am going back and like sort of replacing certain things. Or not replacing, but removing, so that way it's not rendering it. Try to improve rendering cost a bit. And so just little changes like that, right? I also placed a lot more grass and fog, and that's for another video. But I hope you enjoyed this quirky look. We didn't even load into Dark Souls Remastered because I didn't need to. I could float all around DS Map Studio. God love you, DS Map Studio. But now I will have ungodly Blender power in addition to DS Map Studio. So big changes coming to the mod and big improvements, so many more things I can do, and I couldn't be more excited about it. So if you're excited too, a like on this video would help quite a bit. That gets the video out there, sends it to more homies, and I would love everyone to know the amazing work that Grim is doing by releasing this. Everyone should know that. It's just the biggest benefit to the community possible, realistically. So, and sharing the video helps too. And in the link, actually in the description, there is a video that I posted on Twitter, actually. Let's go to that real quick. Before I dip out, I'm going to put this in the description. But they made a video where they're actually comparing default Dark Souls Remastered to my mod, which, oh my god, when you do the side-by-sides, it kind of blew me away. And yeah, I'm going to link it in the description. So you guys give some love to Crispy. That's one of our very own FromSoft servers. And it's so cool. Yeah, this kind of blew me away. Oh my god. New Londo be looking good, dude. Oh, I didn't like the video? What the hell? I thought I did. I shared it on multiple platforms. Oh my god. Like, so these are the comparisons I hate doing. So to have this be a thing, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is so good. So please give some love to Crispy, and please share this video around too if you can. I would appreciate it a lot. This helps the channel, because this is just something that, like, I have not been doing. And so to have someone like Crispy come in here and use Plin Plin Plon and do really awesome comparisons, that's amazing to me. And I couldn't appreciate it anymore. Or maybe I could somehow. But this, oh my god, I love it. So this will be in the description, so you can watch the whole video and hopefully share it around. It's so cool. I'm so appreciative. It's so surreal to have someone create a video of my mod and be someone that was in my community that I've seen in the live chat. Like, come on, that's so cool. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. And it might be a stream. So keep an eye on the community tab and the Discord and the subreddit and Twitter. Everywhere. I am everywhere.